Hello. Today we will do some SAT math practice because the exam is coming soon and found several questions I found on social media. Students find them difficult. So I decided to cover them. And if you have your questions, please feel free to comment them and we can discuss. So we'll have about 10 questions today, and it can take about half an hour or a little bit more. Let's go. So in this question, they asked us to find, they gave us this identity. I don't read the question, but I, from the answer, see that they just want me to find V from this identity. So I do step by step. I first divide both sides by S, right? So I get L divided by S equals square root of 1 minus V squared divided by C squared. Now I need to get rid of this square root sign, so I square both sides. I get L squared divided by S squared, and this equals to 1 minus V squared divided by C squared. Now there's a 1, so I want to subtract 1 from both sides. I get L squared divided by S squared minus 1 equals minus V squared divided by C squared. Now I want to get rid of sign minus, so I'll multiply by minus 1 here and by minus 1 here. So I get 1 minus L squared divided S squared equals V squared divided by C squared. Here, now I want to get rid of C, so it's in denominator, or we divide V by C. So now I multiply both sides by C squared. So I get rid of this, I factor out, so I have V squared equals C squared 1 minus L squared divided S squared. So V is in square, so to get rid of it, I use square root here and there, so I get V. Here C goes out, so it's just C, and I keep all of this in the square root. 1 minus L squared divided by S squared. So for us is the answer A. V equals C square root 1 minus L squared S squared. So if you have any questions for this particular one, feel free to write or comment them. If not, we continue. Okay. So another interesting question. Not that hard, but might be confusing. So what is the result of increasing 300 by 200%? So we can do it in several ways. The first one is this. So when we increase something by 200, it becomes 300%, right? So we need to find 300%. So we don't know, it's x, but we know that 100% is 300. So 300 is our 100%. Then we cross multiply. We find out that x multiplied by 100 equals 300 multiplied by 300. X equals 300 multiplied 300 divided by 100. I factor out, I get 900. So this is my answer. Or the other way is doing this. So I have 300, it's my 100%, and it's increased by 20%, 200%, sorry. So now I'm trying to find 200%, and it's x. So it's 2 times more. So it's just x equals, again, 200 multiplied 300 divided by 100. I get 600. So x or the 300 increased by 600. So 300 plus 600 equals 900. So this is our answer. Any questions? Let me check. So let's continue then. Okay, very interesting question. So we have a function identified for all real numbers, and the graph is y equals fx on the x1 is a line. So it's a line with a negative slope. Which of the following must be true? So let's just first figure out what kind of graph we will have. We know that the basic line is this, but this line has a positive slope. So slope is more than 0. So if we want to have a negative slope, so it's going to be something like this, meaning that while the x increases, this is our x, it increases, the y value should decrease. So when x increases, y decreases. This is our negative slope. For positive slope is x increases, y increases. Great, so we are kind of clear what kind of graph we will have. So it's negative slope, so we have something like this. So it says, which of the following must be true? If A and B, then f of A and f of B. So let's calculate. We say that A is less than B. So this is our A and this is our, let's see, B, or here B. And it says function of the value of function on point A. So this is our FA, and this is our this one. And this is our f value of B. If A is less than B, that's true. We've just pointed. Value of A function is more for A is more than for B. Yes, this y is this y. So this is our f of A and function value of B. So this one is bigger. So this one is true. If A is less than 0, then function A, the value is bigger than 0. So it's A should be somewhere here. The value should be more than 0. Actually, it looks like yes, but it's just one any graph with negative slope. It can be such line as well. So here our A is negative, but the value is less than 0. So this one is not true. If A is positive, okay, let's put this, then value is less than 0. It is true for this particular function line, but this is not true for this line, let's say. Here our A is positive, but our function is not negative. So it's not, even for the first example, this doesn't work. So only one. Our answer is A. Let me check if you have any questions. No questions so far. Let's continue then. So in the figure above, we have AF, BE, and CD that are parallel to each other, BE and CD. So they're parallel. So it means that these angles are equal, like the mean equal angles, etc. And points B and E lie on AC and FD respectively. If AB is 9, so this is 9, BC is 18.5, FE is 8.5. What is the EVX? So since these lines are parallel, actually there is a proportionate division, like this divided by this should be equal this divided by this. Okay, so we'll write that AB, just because they're parallel, like these lines are parallel, that's why. So AB divided by EF equals to BC divided by EB. From here we find 9 divided by 8.5 equals 18.5 divided by x. So we cross multiply, x multiplied 9 equals 18.5 multiplied 8.5, x equals, so let's calculate that, 18.5 multiplied 8.5 equals, it's 187.25 divided by 9, and this equals 1.74T7. So it's approximately 17.5. So the answer is B here. Let me check. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Let's continue then. So it's a equation with absolute values. If we have such equations, what we can do, we usually just take the equation as it is and solve it. But here we get rid of x, we find plus 2 equals minus 8, and it's not true, so no solutions here. And then, so we just took both of them as positive, and the other option should be taking one of them as negative. So x plus 2 equals minus x minus 8. So I find x plus 2 equals minus x plus 8. So I add x to both sides. So I get 2x plus 2 equals 8. From here, 2x equals 6. X I divide by 2 equals to 3. Good. And this is my solution, like the solution we get. Okay, let's continue. Okay, very interesting question, this one. A little bit tricky, but let's first read. In the line, in the xy plane, in the graph of the linear equation that of the form y equals mx plus b, and the graph of exponential equation from this, both contain points. Okay, we have a graph and we have points like 1 and 2, and this is 3, it's equals to 3, let's put it here, 3, and 2 is 4. Okay, let's do it here. Okay, so both contain these points. The point, this point RS is on the graph of the linear equation, and the point RT is on the graph of the exponential equation, where R is less than 4, so there's a 4, R is somewhere here, and S is bigger than T. Which of the following must be true? Okay, let's first draw kind of the graphs. We don't need to be exact here. Of course, if we would be exact, that would be better, but it's not that important for now. So the line, we just draw a line here, as you see. So we draw the line. It's Okay, and we have an exponential function. What is the function of an exponential? What is the graph of an exponential function? It's either this or this, right? So since it goes here, I realize that it can't be this one, right? Because this is here, like kind of this. It should be something like this, right? So I just draw it something like this. So it's not exact function, but it's true form kind of. So there is a point R, and so there's some point R, let's say R, and there is a point of value T here because it's on the line, and S here. So there's R, so T is here, so this is T. T is on the line, it says. Exact linear equation has point this one. And no, sorry. S is on linear. Excuse me, this is S and this is T. So these are S somewhere and there's T. It says me that S is more than T. Look here, this is S and this is T. If we continue, here T is bigger than S. So it's not here. Let's go here. So still it's T and this is S. T is still bigger. We go till here. It's still T bigger than S. At this point, 2 and 4, they are equal. And then we go here. We see that S here because it's on line, and this is T. So C is bigger than T. That's true here. This is what we were looking for, right? S and T is also the same here, here. Until this point, again, S here is less than T. So for that reason, our R, we found out that it should be somewhere here to be true for this equation. Like S should be more than T. And this applies only if R is between 1 and 2. The answer is B. It's a little bit complicated question. It might be hard, but feel free to ask your questions. Let's continue. Okay, if the figure shown above so we have such figure, and we need to find length of the arc S. What is this one is arc S, so we need to find its length, and we have that the central angle is R radians. Okay, what we need to know about angles in radians, generally why we have angles in radians while we have degrees, because radians sometimes are more useful, like in this example. Look at this angle, let's say. This is our circle, assuming. This is our R, this is our R, and this is, let's assume 60 degrees. Does it tell you anything about this part, like this arc? No, we just need to calculate it like through long calculations, finding the circumference and then dividing, etc. We just know that this length, like of this triangle, should be R2, but nothing more. So let's then draw an angle that would be 1 radian, so that this should be R, this would be R, and the arc it forms would be R2. So if 1 radian has an arc of R length, let's add another angle of R of 1 radian, so it's also R. So 2 radians have 2R, form an arc of 2R. So here is the same. We have a 2 radian angle, and then it forms S should be equal to R and 2 radius. It forms an arc that is equal to 2 radius. Our radius is 7, so 2 multiplied by 7 equals 14. That's it. Any questions? Let's continue. Wow, it's also an interesting question. So we have a figure with the circle and center, and we need to find the area of the shaded region. Okay, what we do, we just logically need to find what this shaded area equals to. It equals to this region, right? This 60, this part, this all, minus the area of the triangle, right, that it forms. So then we'll be able to find the area of this small part, shaded region, right? So let's do this first. To find area of the segment, we need to find the area of the circle. So area of the circle equals pi r squared. Here is pi. What is our r? R is 4 squared, so we have 16 pi. How do we find our area of the segment? So it's just segment. It's equals to pi multiplied 16, our area of the circle, divided by 360 degrees and multiplied by the angle we have. What is it? It's 60. So multiplied by, not there, generally multiplied by 60. So we calculate and we find that it's 16 pi divided by 6, or 8 pi divided by 3. Okay, we found first part, this. Now we need to find the area of this triangle. Okay, what we have this, 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 and this is our 60. So these are right radiuses, so it's an isosceles right triangle. I know that this should be 62 and this should be 62, so it's actually isosceles, it's actually equilateral triangle. So it's also 4, it's 4, it's 4. How do I find the area of this triangle? I'll draw a line. It's our median or height, or we can call it, that forms our right triangle. This would be 2 and this is 4, and from 30, 60 and 90 degrees right triangle, we'll know that the leg opposite to 60 degrees should be square root of 3 multiplied by the other leg. And now how do I find the area? I just find this area of this triangle and multiply by 2. So 2 multiplied 2 square of 3 divided by 2 multiplied 2. So I get 4 square root of 3. Great. So I have this and I need to subtract this. Let's write that 8 pi divided by 3 minus 4 square root of 3. I don't have such an answer. So what I do instead, but I see that I have 1 over 3, so I try to factor it out. I get 8 pi minus, so it becomes 12 square root of 3. So the answer is D here, right? Clear? Or it's a little bit long question, but interesting one. So let's continue. Okay, another question with circles. So in the figure, point O is the center and the vertex of the square lies on the circle. So it's this point and the other one is on the center. If the area of the shaded region, so we have area of the shaded region, we need to find the perimeter of the square. to find the perimeter of the square, we need to first find its side, right? So I'll try to draw a better circle. So it's this is our center, okay. Okay, how do I find this? I don't know, but what I know that this is a radius. Since this is a radius and this is a square, so I get isosceles right triangle here, 45, 45. This sides would be equal to r divided by square root of 2. Why? Just let me show you. So if this is x and this is x, and this is our r, it's 45, 45. So from Pythagorean theorem, we know that x squared plus x squared should be equal to r squared. 2x squared equals r squared. X squared equals r squared divided by 2. X equals square root of r squared divided by 2, or x equals r divided by square root of 2. That's it. Okay, we found this value of the side of the square in terms of r, but we don't know r. But how we can find it? We can find it through the shaded area. What the shaded area equals to? It equals to area of this minus area of this little square, right? So what is the area of the circle? Area of the circle is pi r squared, agree? And when we get minus sign, because this, and what is the area of this square? It's square of the side, square. So if we simplify further, we'll do it later, but it should be equal to 36 pi minus 18. What I do here, I do pi r squared minus r squared over 2 equals to, let's factor out 18. I get 18. This is 2 pi minus 1. Now I factor out this 2 r squared over 2. I get r squared over 2. I get here 2 pi minus 1, and should be equal to 18. 2 pi minus 1. So I divide both sides by 2 pi minus 1. I get r squared divided by 2 should be equal to 18, or r squared should be equal to 18 multiplied by 2, and this is 36. So our r equals to square root of 36, or 6. So I found r, but what do I need? I need the perimeter of the square. What is the perimeter of the square? It's 4 multiplied r divided by square root of 2. So 4 multiplied 6 divided square root of 2 equals 24 divided square root of 2. So how do I get rid of the irrationality here? Like the square sign, I multiply both denominator and numerator by square root of 2. What I get here is 24 square root of 2 divided by 2, or 12 square root of 2. This is our answer, is C. Okay, let's continue. Okay, this is another interesting question. So it says that we have such graph, and there's a point AB where A is this. Which of the following is not possible value of B? Before jumping to the question, I want to explain you one thing. What generally might happen to a function when it crosses the line, this line, like line x, like when it's on the zeros, like it has its zeros, right? Here it changed this side, meaning the answer was positive here, as you see, and it's negative here, and it's back positive here. So it changed here, it did change here too. Or it doesn't change if it's like square, like something like this. It didn't change, so it's still positive, and after this point it's still positive. Here it was positive until this point is 0, then it's negative, then it increases, so it was negative, then it reached 0, and then it's positive. So same applies to the cubic functions, or other functions may apply. So we will use this knowledge here. So there's some graph with 3 zeros at points. It's 1, it's -1, it's +1, it's -1, and -2. So let's draw them. -2, -1, and 1. So the function crosses all these lines. So we know that it either changed or doesn't change its value, but between this it should be either positive or negative. So it says that there's a point AB, and A is between these two numbers. Okay, so it's somewhere here, there's A, right? So let's find if our function is positive here or negative. Just let's put a 0, like any number between this, in our equation. So it's -1 multiplied 1 multiplied 2. So it's -1, so it's negative. So our function in this part should be negative, okay? Because we just found out it's either positive or negative between the points of intersection. It cannot change its value, right? It cannot be here negative and then somehow positive without crossing it, right? It should cross. So this function crosses somewhere here and there. So our value B, its y value, y value, it should be negative. So which is not possible. So -2 is possible value, right? So it's not the answer. It's not the answer. So what about 0? It says that A can be -1. If A is -1, then our B is 0. Okay, it's not this, right? So it cannot be positive. The answer is D. You have any questions? I know it's a little tricky question, but it's not a bad question. Okay, another interesting question. So we have a function. So function of r equals r minus 4 multiply r plus 1 squared. What is the value of h if h minus function of h minus 3 equals to 0? So what is the function of b then equals from this? We just put b into r, y, b minus 4, b plus 1 squared. So why not to do it with all this value, h minus 3? So let's just, let's put h minus 3 instead of b, or r here. So it's h minus 3, minus 4 multiplied h minus 3 plus 1 squared. And these are equals h minus 7 multiplied h minus 2 squared equals to what? 0, right? It says it. So if this equals to 0, then h is equals to 2 or h equals to 7. So they ask us one possible value, so we can write 7 or 2. Both work here. So let's continue. Okay, another interesting question here. So we have a graph of a circle, and it's translated downwards a units to get this. What is the value of it? Okay, sorry. Let's have a graph, approximate graph of this. So it's, what are this? We know that it's the usual function is x minus x1 square plus y minus y1 square equals r square, where x1 and y1 are points of center. So it's 6 here and 3 here, right? So this is our center, and it has a radius of 5 square, right? So it's 5. So it's somewhere here, right? It doesn't reach here, it's 1. So that would be 1. So it crosses here because it's 3, and this is 5. So this is our approximate circle. I do it very bad, I know, but it's okay. So it says that it's being translated downwards. So it goes downwards so that the circle becomes tangent to x-axis. So can it be tangent to x-axis if it goes down? No. Then this one will be. Okay, let's redraw a line here. So this becomes tangent. Right? This is our radius 5. This is 5. What is this point's value? If it's 5, it's minus 5. So how much did it change? So it went from 3 to minus 5. What is this length? It's 8. So the answer is 8. Or in other words, what is the point center of this? It's 6 and minus 5, the new point. So we have x minus 6 square plus y minus 5 square equals to 5 square. So, and we have this, so this one's equal, so we just need to make this one equal. So y minus 3 plus a equals y minus 5. Get rid of y, a equals wait a minute. So if it's minus 1, it should be plus. Excuse me, sorry. So it's plus, so this transmitted here. So 5 plus 3 equals 8. Hope it was more or less clear. If you have questions, please comment them. Let's go to the next question. Okay. So there is a graph, and we need to find which of these can be, which of the graphs could be the graph of this given function. First thing I might advise is just to find the vertex of this. What is the vertex? Let's rewrite it in the vertex form. We know that if y equals ax minus h squared plus k, then vertex is h and k. So let's rewrite it here. So it's y equals x squared plus 2x plus 1 plus 1. Y divided 2 as 1 because this makes up our identity x plus 1 squared plus 1, y equals. So from here, h equals minus 1, k equals 1. So where is the vertex? It's minus 1 and 1. So vertex is here. Our a is positive. It's 1, right? So it goes up. So not this, because its vertex is here. Vertex is positive here and negative here. But we need negative x, and positive y. So it's not this. So the answer is B here. So simple. Yep. Another method is, let me delete all of this. Another method is just to check you see all points cross the 2. So we can check by this. We can check though by B. What does B shows us? Like ax plus bx, x squared plus bx plus c. So the value, if b positive than, if b is more than 0, then the function should go like this or this. Like once it crosses the y-x, it goes up. If b is less than 0, it crosses like, I don't know, like this, downwards. So b is positive, so it goes up, it's okay. It goes up, it's okay. This goes down, this doesn't work. This goes down, this doesn't work. So just two answers. And you see this one has solution, but that one doesn't. So the determining factor will be if this function has solutions or not. How do we know if a function has solution or not? We check the discriminant. That is equal b squared minus 4ac. If this is more than 0, two solutions. If it not, if yes, if it's equals to 0, there are two equal or one solution. And if it's negative, there are no solutions. So it should be negative. Let's check. I'm not sure if it's negative or positive, but let's check. So it's b squared, it's 2d equals 2 squared minus 4 multiplied b, 2 multiplied c. What is c? C is 2. So this equals to 4 minus 4 multiplied 4. It's 16, so it's minus 12. So it's negative, so there is no solution. But this function has solution, so this is not the answer. The answer is B. Any questions? Okay, let's continue. Another very interesting question. So we have 2 points, and they are endpoints of the diameter of a circle. We need to find an equation of the circle. Okay, let's do that. That doesn't sound that difficult for now, but let's try. So let's find the points. This is our graph. So this is 2, and this is our 4. And the other one is minus 2. And this is our minus 4, kind of. So way like this. So the diameter is this. So I know that it should cross here because they are just opposites of each other, right? So what do I need to know? I just need to know the center, because I know that x is x1 squared plus y minus y1 squared equals r squared. What I need to know, the points of center. So I found the center that is 0, 0, 0. So it's this one is 0, this one is 0. I get x squared plus y squared, and I just need to find radius. So this is 2, this is 4, agree. So how do I find this radius? So radius squared equals 4 squared plus 2 squared, and this equals to 16 plus 4, and this is equals to 20. So r squared equals to 20. R equals square root of 20. What is the function here? It says r squared, so it's equals to 20. So I just wrote the function. So the answer is D. Let me check if you have any other questions. So that was it for today. Best of luck with you during the exam. If you have any questions, feel free to write. I'm still here for a couple of minutes just in case you have a question. Let's see. So I'm checking the comments. So if no comments, then thank you for joining. See you next lives. Bye.